Okay, so as we begin to look at the cultural aspects of this region, we're looking at religion and language. In this region, we have early aspects. So Buddhism, of course, comes out of Hinduism, so out of South Asia, spreads through Southeast and East Asia. Today, you still have Buddhism as a very strong universalizing religion through large portions of Southeast Asia and even portions of China and Japan. You have the influence of other local religions, so Confucianism, Taoism. Through China, you have Shintoism in Japan. You also have the influence of Islam because of the trade routes in the Indian Ocean through Malaysia, Indonesia, influence of Hinduism. So you have Hinduism that kind of extends out of South Asia, along Southeast Asia, even into a couple of islands in Indonesia. So we have a lot of different things going on in terms of religion, but one of the things to keep in mind is whenever we look at maps of religion, they're going to show you religions. One of the things, other than what I showed you in the first chapter, one of the things that we don't normally see in maps about religion is those people who are unaffiliated, who don't attest to any particular religion. So whenever we look at countries like China, last time I looked at their census information, it was around 54% of the population were non-religious. So you had, 18% Buddhist, I think it was 12% Taoist or Confucius. You have, of course, Christians and Islam in here as well, but 54%, more than half the population, listed themselves as non-religious. Now, part of that's tied to the communist past of the country, but it's also representative of some of the changes that we're seeing in other areas as well, where it's kind of a growing perspective in portions of the world. Whenever we look at the southeastern portion, again, the key here is mainland Buddhism with some animism. The islands, largely Islamic with some animism. And then whenever we get over to the Philippines and East Timor, you get over into areas that are largely Catholic. In terms of language, we have a variety of languages here, but one of the keys is writing styles. Now, many of these countries have adopted a European alphabet. So for instance, Vietnam, because of the French colonial powers, are still using largely European alphabet. Whenever we look in East Asia, whenever we're talking about Japan, China, and the Koreas, we're talking about areas that are still using syllabary. One of Japan's 3 written languages is actually traditional forms of Chinese. For instance, whenever we are talking about Japan, we're talking about hiragana, katakana. Hiragana are syllables that represent local words. Katakana are syllables that represent foreign languages. And then you have kanji, which are characteristic shapes that represent what they say. And that's the same, of course, with traditional Chinese and with Korean as well. So we have these ideographs as opposed to our idea of consonants and vowels and putting them together. They represent one or a whole idea. Many of the countries, for instance, China, have multiple languages. We tend to talk about Chinese as Chinese, but it's whenever we say that, we're generally referring to Mandarin. So we're not talking about Cantonese or some of the other dialects that are common in the country. And then, of course, whenever we get to Southeast Asia, we have a whole other set of languages, again, influenced by the colonial powers, but maintain their own languages.